program, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission is asking counties to follow due process in the introduction of any new allowance. Machakos County is cited for introducing additional special allowances for the health professionals without seeking the Commission's advisory. In a statement, SRC Chair Lynn Mengich says such unilateral actions are unlawful and likely to cause iniquity in remuneration across the health sectors in the counties, consequently leading to instability in the sector. Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua introduced special allowances of between 5,000 and 20,000 shillings to the health workers from the 1st of April 2020. Well, I'm now joined by way of phone by the chair of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Lynn Mengich. Many thanks for joining us on a weekend at 1. It is a directive that has not been received lightly by medical professionals across the country. What issue does SRC have with this move?
The issue we have is that the payment by the counties without following the due process is likely to lead to inequity in remuneration of the healthcare personnel across the country. Consequently, this will lead to instability in the sector at this critical time when all counties require adequate healthcare personnel.
Right.
Indeed, we have received comments from a number of counties that really they may not be able to afford what Machakos has done, and that is our basis of inequity. The other issue that we would like to raise is that it is important to recognize that national government is currently raising funds to facilitate the fight against the pandemic.
Right.
In the light of scarce resources, it is important to balance the need for resources to fight the pandemic and resources for extra compensation.
Right, but at the end of the day, Commissioner, we've seen the health professionals putting their lives at risk on the front line of fighting this COVID-19 pandemic. Many see the move by the Machakos County government as a simple motivation. We have received a letter here in response to your letter to the governors by the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, and they say this letter that you have written is hurtful to them, is quite hypocritical, because even when health workers in these counties are complaining of being underpaid, the SRC was silent at those times.
The response to that is, I go back to our issue clearly is about two issues. Inequity. When one county decides to go alone and make decisions without due consultation, what you then have is a disjointed effort in fighting the pandemic. So we are absolutely not, we do not support where counties, without any consultation, without any due process, decide to take disjointed effort. As a nation right now, what we need is to fight this pandemic as a joint effort.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, medical workers are at the front line of their fighting this pandemic. What plans does the SRC have then in this light to motivate health workers?
The process is that the counties themselves must come to SRC with a proposal on how to compensate the health workers. That is what the Constitution requires. No county has yet come to the Constitution to make such proposals.
All right. And at the end of the day, you've written to the Council of Governors. Have you written directly to the Machakos Governor, Alfred Mutua?
Yes, we have. We have given him the same letter with the same message.
All right, many thanks. That is Lynn Mengich. She is the chair of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. They're taking issue with the individual counties motivating or giving allowances to health workers fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Now,